In this series, we get to the heart of some really core Chinese values that have been and continue to be important drivers of this ancient civilization. We look at a life devoted to scholarship and avoidance of materialism in Fan Zhongyan. We see a man, Ji Zha, with a notion of morality that transcends practical considerations, and we meet an ordinary railway worker battling incredibly harsh conditions to play her part in creating a marvel of modern Chinese infrastructure. We also take a look at the values which formed China's greatest ancient historian, Sima Qian. We also take a look at a different type of Chinese value in Tao Yuanming and the great Song dynasty artist Wen Yuke, both of whom are trying to reconnect with nature and embody the value of 天人合一。在这一集，我们会借鉴中国价值观的中心思想，那是在中国文化中长期存在的思想。我们会看到终身学习、放弃物质的樊中燕，会看到坚持道德准则的季札，会看到在中国基建方面发挥重要作用的一个普通工人，会看到中国最伟大的历史学家司马迁的价值观，也会从陶渊明和著名宋代画家文宇可身上看到独特的思想。他们两个都试图去实现天人合一。那些被文化氛围榜样的人，肯定能说明一些问题。范仲淹这个故事就向我们展现了一个中国人心目中的榜样。他是一个知识分子，他学习不是为了利益和权利，每天读书就是为了提升自己的修养，而他的自控能力，我们再重申一下，是吃这么少，既不是为了省钱，更不是为了减肥。以简单的事物为伴，就是想尽量让他的自己的生活简单一些。在他看来，知识高于一切。他想把任何可能干扰他的事情从生活中去掉。换句话讲，他想通过这种方式来获得一种自由。儒家思想中，学 study 有着特殊的地位，它被看作我们走向文明最佳途径。中国人认为，像范仲淹那种终身坚持学习的人是很难得的，而范仲淹那种自律精神也是值得发扬的。大家都尊敬那些为了伟大目标而做出牺牲的人。好的，我现在把整个故事的英文版本从头到尾朗诵一下。范仲淹 dividing the porridge and chopping the pickles. Fan Zhongyan, a leading man of letters of the Song dynasty, 960 to 1279, once expounded on the famous saying, "Worry before the whole world worries, but rejoice after the whole world rejoices." He cherished the common people and devoted his life to serving them. He set a lofty ambition for himself while he was still very young, a time when he started studying in earnest. In order to bolster his ambition, he often went to the Liquan temple in the nearby Changbai mountains to stay and study. His life with the monks there was a Spartan one. At sunrise every day, while the monks were still sleeping, Fan Zhongyan would start studying. In order to train himself to endure hardship, he would cook a bowl of porridge every day. After it cooled, he would divide it into 4 chunks, eating 2 in the morning and 2 in the evening, mixed with pickled vegetables dipped in vinegar. When he had finished eating each frugal meal, Fan Zhongyan resumed his studies. Later generations gave him the approving nickname of the man who divided the porridge and chopped the pickles. Divided here means planned, and chopped the pickles means separated the pickled vegetables. During his Spartan life at that time, Fan Zhongyan was often hungry. Nevertheless, he did not balk at sticking to a minimum diet, but found his enjoyment in pouring all his energy into studying, in the hope that, in the future, he could use the knowledge he had acquired to guide his country in the right direction. After 3 years, Fan Zhongyan finally decided that the books available in the Changbai mountain area were not enough for him. He was determined to complete his education elsewhere. In the year 1011, the 23-year-old Fan Zhongyan arrived at the Ying Tianfu Academy in Suiyang City. This was one of the highest seats of learning during the Northern Song dynasty, with a crowd of famous scholars and excellent students. It also had lots of books and manuscripts which could be borrowed and consulted. This was a rare opportunity for Fan Zhongyan, who relished the studious environment of the academy. He enthusiastically mixed with both the scholars and his schoolmates and devoted himself to studying night and day. To sharpen his ambition, Fan Zhongyan stuck to his habit of dividing the porridge and chopping the pickles, every day eating only a bowl of porridge and a few pickled vegetables. A schoolmate, who was the son of the top official of the city of Nanjing, felt sorry for Fan Zhongyan and often sent him delicacies. Fan, however, never even tasted them, but thrust them away and left them until they became mouldy. When his schoolmate upbraided him for this, Fan Zhongyan bowed deeply and excused himself, saying, "I have become used to a simple diet, and so I worry that if I even once taste delicacies, I will never again be able to swallow porridge and pickled vegetables." In this way, Fan Zhongyan steeled himself to a life of strict discipline. He never hankered after material enjoyment, but preserved his thirst for knowledge in the hope that someday he could devote his accomplishment to his country. So, through trials and tribulations and the most unfavorable circumstances, Fan Zhongyan was able to come up with the saying, "Worry before the whole world worries, but rejoice after the whole world rejoices." Ignoring external glory and shame, he finally became a great man of his generation. The moral of this story. Fan Zhongyan's lofty ambition, embedded in his motto, "Worry before the whole world worries, but rejoice after the whole world rejoices," originated from his early age determination to practice rigid self-discipline and take hardships as pleasure. Due to his lifelong steadfast self-refining, Fan Zhongyan finally achieved great success. Okay, let's do some recitation practice now. Let's listen to the following passage. 好的，接下来我们来练习一下诵读，听听下面这一个段落。At sunrise, every day, while the monks were still sleeping, Fan Zhongyan would start studying. In order to train himself to endure hardship, he would cook a bowl of porridge every day. After it had cooled, he would divide it into 4 chunks, eating 2 in the morning and 2 in the evening, mixed with pickled vegetables dipped in vinegar. When he had finished eating each frugal meal, Fan Zhongyan resumed his studies. Later generations gave him the approving nickname of the man who divided the porridge and chopped the pickles. In this passage, we want to convey the key point in this story, which is Fan Zhongyan's simple lifestyle. To emphasize how routine his life was, we should emphasize the word every in the first sentence. Let's listen.
通过在文章的这一段，我们主要想表达范仲淹简单的生活方式。我们要中读第一句话中的 every， 来强调他的生活是多么朴实。
At sunrise every day, while the monks were still sleeping, Fan Zhongyan would start studying. Now, in the following sentence, we should pay particular attention to the verb endure, which really reflects the quality that Fan Zhongyan was trying to cultivate.
接下来的一段里，我们要特别注意到 endure 这个动词， 它反映了范仲淹想要培养的那种品质。我们听一下 ：In order to train himself to endure hardship. In the following parts, the use of the word would again indicates routine, so we should give it emphasis, slight emphasis, not strong emphasis. The other words like morning and evening, which show his routine, should also be emphasized. 在接下来的部分中 ，would 这个单词会把他的生活平淡再次体现出来，所以我们要稍微强调，但不用太着重体现。像 morning、evening 这些也体现了平淡的单词或者平凡的一种生活，也需要在朗诵的时候强调一下。我们来听听吧。He would cook a bowl of porridge every day. After it had cooled, he would divide it into 4 chunks, eating 2 in the morning and 2 in the evening, mixed with pickled vegetables dipped in vinegar. Okay, let's listen to the whole passage again. 好的，我们现在把整个段落再听一听。At sunrise every day, while the monks were still sleeping, Fan Zhongyan would start studying. In order to train himself to endure hardship, he would cook a bowl of porridge every day. After it had cooled, he would divide it into 4 chunks, eating 2 in the morning and 2 in the evening, mixed with pickled vegetables dipped in vinegar. When he had finished eating each frugal meal, Fan Zhongyan resumed his studies. Later generations gave him the approving nickname of the man who divided the porridge and chopped the pickles. 好的，今天的课就讲到这里了，再见。